First up on the show is Timothy O'Grady, a.k.a. Timmy Tickets, who is a senior account executive at Spurs Sports Entertainment. So, Timmy, how did you get – I'm going to say Timmy. I'm just going to do it. But how did you end up with the Spurs?
Well, of course, like everything else, that's a crazy story. But so I've told you, and now everybody can know, but we truly got forced out of California. I moved here 2 years ago from San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 20 years, and housing costs were just a lot. My girlfriend's family's from outside of Houston. We kind of looked at each other and we said, I think it's time. I think it's time to move to somewhere more affordable. So the decision was made to move to Texas, interviewed for a job in Austin, didn't get that job. Another company out here hired me and waited 6 weeks for me to move from San Diego to San Antonio to go work for them. I even went as far as going and meeting everybody there and shaking their hands. And in the time that happened, I had applied for the Spurs 9 different times. I applied for a job with the Spurs. And then about a week before I was set to have my very first day with this other company, they called me. And we were still looking for a house. And I remember I very clearly said to them, God, I really wish you guys would have called me. I took this other job. I really appreciate it. And they said, well, why don't we just see what happens here? And instead of going to my first day at the other company, I went to what was the 5th and final interview for the Spurs. And I even asked my now manager, I said, hey man, like this is a 5th interview. Is this a done deal? You know my situation. I have this other job lined up. He said, I'd love to tell you it's not a done deal. Everybody likes you. And we were at IKEA. And I looked at my girlfriend and I said, what do I do here? I said, if I don't go to this job and then I don't get this job, we're right back where we started. Right. And she looked at me and said, you know exactly what to do. And that was it. That was off and running. I took a lot less upfront money to work for the Spurs, and it was the greatest single decision I probably made in my entire career.
Why?
Awesome.
I mean, call it what you want. Life led us and me to where we were supposed to be. This just clicked. This just clicked from day one. Like I wasn't Timmy Tickets. I was Timothy O'Grady. Like any job you start, I don't know why. I was meant to work at this job. They gave me the freedom to do what I want. I always knew I had it in me. 20 years of sales and marketing, worked for a lot of different companies, I can name that you would recognize. I just never felt a fit like this before, and it just happened right away, and I was off and running, and the ride's not over yet. We're still there, but I would love to know the answer to why I wound up there as well, but I was just meant to work there.
Were you a Spurs fan before you moved?
Not a Spurs fan, but I am a lifelong NBA diehard fan. Grew up in a basketball household, played basketball since I was 6, still play basketball now, not very well. So there's probably a part of that. I mean, I guess somebody has said, wow, I guess I'm lucky to wind up there. And somebody said, you applied 9 times?
Yeah,
that's not luck. So yeah, I didn't realize those things, but yeah.
So when it comes to what drives you on a daily basis, because I know you're in ticket sales, right? Which getting to know you and how you approach it has been really illuminating for me, because you are, in my opinion, I don't know about your space, but in my opinion, you're very creative in how you do it, because you're speaking to business owners. That's who and you like, this is how you can make this work for your business, and they love it. So where did that come from? Was that you? Was that your training?
Another good question. Just kind of evolved. I think also part of evolution of Timmy Tickets. So yeah, I took this job and they didn't have any formal training like any other sales job I've had. They basically said,
there you go.
Yeah, they said, here, you sell Spurs tickets now. You figure it out. I was like, okay. So I went and did a bunch of things that people told me didn't work. I guess luckily for me, I'm not going to listen to someone else tell me. I need to figure it out for myself. Yeah. So I'll never forget, you probably know, I'm sure you do. I went to a San Antonio Chamber of Commerce networking event. It was at the Alamo.
That's where we met.
Oh, okay. And so I met a guy named Kip Stelling. He was heavily involved in the chamber. He was part of both networking groups that I've been a part of with you. And he was one of the first people I met that sort of brought me into that world. I had never really done it any of my other jobs before. It was very traditional sales. And Spurs were like, yeah, just go ahead, do your thing. I mean, you sell Spurs tickets, so people really like that. I will say, they do want to be around you. They want to be a part of it. So I guess over time, like you said, I found a way. I started figuring out real quick, like it was easy for me to get a business owner to want to come to a Spurs game. hey, I got tickets. You want to come to this game? Yeah. Meanwhile, they don't realize that that's me bringing a prospect out and trying to show them what I have to offer. And so shortly over time, I started thinking to myself, well, if I can do this and I'm successful and these guys have their clients and their prospects and they're doing sales and marketing just like me, why can't they use what I have access to for their customers and clients? And that idea just clicked in my head, and I don't know why some of the other reps don't quite see it like that. So I guess that kind of became my angle. I was meeting all these business owners, I was meeting all these other people, and I was able to say to them, like, hey, Tim, we're not interested. Like, Spurs games, that's a lot of fun, but we don't have the money for it. So do you buy gift cards for your customers? Do you take your prospects out to, probably fairly expensive dinners? You're already spending the money. You're already doing it. I like to say you're just not doing it right. And then I would bring them out to games. The first one's on me. And I'd say, hey, you grab me your best client. Go get me your best prospect. Tell them you're going to take them to a Spurs game and let me see if I can help you make a good impression. And that was pretty much it. They came out. Their prospect had a great time. And I've had my customers say, yeah, I've done business because of you. I'll put on a show for you if you bring your prospect out. I'm going to make sure they had a good time and they, got recognized. You do business with Marc. Anybody who knows Marc's a friend of mine. Anytime you come to AT&T Center, you make sure you let me know. Remind me you know Marc. I guess I know sales and marketing, so I figured I could share with them what I had access to. And I like to say, like, anybody can take you to Starbucks or give you a steak, but ask them what's the last meal somebody took you to? Do you remember? What's the last Spurs game they took you to? I think it's a whole experience and it's more memorable. So if I can open their eyes and see it as an ROI instead of a sunk cost, then the wheels start turning and I can help other people, and then they start bringing me their prospects.
Well, and San Antonio loves their Spurs, but this year's different. We got a unicorn this year. So what does that look like for ticket sales?
Yeah, that's been dramatically different. Again, my job went from one thing to another. I'm still doing a lot of that, but obviously it's become a lot easier now, which is different for me. Not good or bad, different. Mm-hmm. The biggest difference right now is if I could relay anything to anybody, I guess where we're at Spurs-wise with tickets, it's exciting. We're excited. Like, this isn't just any pick. This is LeBron James as far as we know. Hopefully it works out that way. Whatever happens, the excitement is there. But some people are not NBA fans and don't get, this isn't just a number one pick. This is quite possibly the future of the NBA, or at least that's what people say. So for us, the biggest fundamental difference right now is people think one of two things. There seem to be a contingent of people who just aren't grasping what's happening. I'm not a car dealer. Once I get all my cars sold, I don't have any more cars that are coming into the lot.
Yeah, seats are gone.
We're very much in a position right now where seats are almost gone. So there are those who say, I'll wait till next season, or, you guys haven't won anything yet. And that's just not the case. We're going to sell out most likely. And the other thing they don't grasp is we don't start over every year. So when you sign up to become a season ticket member this year during this very exciting time, you have the option to continue that every year. So in theory, if this starts to take off the way we think, every year we're going to have less inventory.
Right.
So it's not going to get any easier. It's going to get harder.
People will secure that for multiple years as well. And then it's kind of first come, first serve for re-upping and all that kind of stuff. One of the things that I'm fascinated about what you do, Timmy, is you have people, it's an experience, right? So it's not just come to a game, but what are some of the other layers you can add to that elevate that experience for folks, especially for business owners who are looking to, be creative in how they entertain their folks?
I appreciate that. Well, we have different kinds of seating. People don't know about that. We have something called premium seating. Comes with VIP entrance. There are 3 VIP entrances. You get an extra 30 minutes to come into the arena, and only about 1/3 of the people have those tickets. I definitely point those out to my business customers. I think because if you're hosting a prospect, it's a different game experience, and no one is better than the other. It's just, what are you looking to get out of this? So when you're doing business, I think that type of experience makes a big impact and a big difference. Fundamentally, if you get to the general entrance at 7 or you get to a VIP entrance at 7, your experience right from the get-go is going to be different. You're going to wait in line longer. VIP premium seating, get access to our Frost Club level. There's people who have been at games coming for 10 years who didn't even know that exists.
I've never heard of it.
It's another level underneath of the arena, just a little bit less crowded, shorter vendor lines, but that's part of your premium seating. Then we go all the way up. You know, a lot of people sit in a thing called the Super Box.
Yeah.
Probably heard a lot about that. Most of my customers
Seen
sit
it on
there.
TV.
They have
My husband's company has a box.
people love
it's
it.
Great.
It's you're a little further away from the court, so you can have maybe some better conversations. But they have catered food, house beer, house wine, and then I come and check on my customers. So I appreciate you saying, I know you take the time to be part of that experience, and I guess I don't give myself enough credit. But I will try my hardest to come visit my customers every game as much as I possibly can. I want to meet the folks that they're bringing if I can. I've actually made some business connections in the Super Box. It's an open seating area, and so I've been able to introduce some different customers of mine to other customers of mine who are in the same field. But yeah.
So what about the entrance tunnel? You had something you were doing one time, which I think is totally cool. Totally cool. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was even a thing that they can get access to. But you can set it up to where people can be at that tunnel where the folks, the players are coming through. What's that about?
And that's another example. We have a lot of other things like this. That one's called the Silver Experience. And it depends. We have limited availability each game, but you come about 90 minutes before the game, and you can stand on the visitor side or the home side, and you get to hold little items and high-five the players. It depends on how interactive the players are, so it's up to them. Sure. But yeah, that's just another extra that I can add on to that experience. I may have brought a prospect or maybe a prospect's son who I find out is a big, Warriors fan. Maybe that prospect got to stand on the railing with his son, making some memories.
It's a huge deal. That's when, especially you get photographs of that, and I mean, you'll remember that forever.
Yeah, and tax deductible, I'm guessing.
Well, that event, that experience, actually, or not, would be free. It's for season ticket members only, generally. So, of course, it's part of my, presentation to somebody. But hey, these are the kind of things we can do for season ticket members. I guess if I can, the way the Spurs treat their season ticket members, we call them family members. And, you might think, okay, it's fine. I don't know how much you've heard about the Spurs organization in the sports world, but I was not expecting it to be that same way on the inside. It completely is. If I was selling paper for this company, I would be blown away by how professional they are. But we do all these different things for season ticket members. We mail you things in the mail. You get invited to movies. You get invited to top golf events. Being a season ticket member is more than just these are your seats. It's a whole experience.
I love it.
And is it just the Spurs games, or does that include like rodeo and everything like that?
We can. We do have a limited number of higher end seating that includes the rodeo and concerts. So we do have some season ticket members who actually have seats that are all of those. We have a seating area for the rodeo and Spurs. I do have the ability to sell those things separate from Spurs as well, if that's what you're into. As you may imagine, we're currently sold out of all of those type of seats right now.
I would imagine, yeah.
All right, Timmy, it was a great conversation. Learn a lot about what you do outside of just selling tickets. If folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You can contact me on my cell phone, 619-708-4881. You can email me at togrady@spurs.com. I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great way to connect with me. I'm on Facebook, and as I mentioned, I'm on Instagram now.
Well, welcome to Instagram anyway.
At Timmy Tickets.
Thank you guys very much.
At Timmy Tickets, right on. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.